Anubis, the Egyptian god of the dead, was one of the most important deities in the ancient Egyptian pantheon. He was the son of the earth god Geb and the sky goddess Nut. And his siblings included the equally well-known Osiris, Isis, Nephthys, and Set. Anubis's name, often transliterated as Anop or Ein, means decay or insects, and refers to his role as the ruler of the afterlife. Specifically, he presided over the mummification process and the preservation of human remains. In this capacity, Anubis was associated with several sacred animals, including jackals, which were known to scavenge around tombs, bisses, which nested in large colonies, and baboons, which were popular among the Egyptians for their intelligence and playfulness. Each morning, Anubis would ride across the sky in a chariot drawn by 4 baboons, while at night he would travel in a similar fashion, but with black baboons. These daily journeys symbolized his guardianship over the living and the dead. The ancient Egyptians believed that after death, the soul, or ka, of a person would travel to the underworld, where it would be judged by Osiris. If the deceased person had lived a good life, they would pass this test and join the blessed in the field of reeds, a kind of heaven in Egyptian mythology. However, if they failed the test, they would be sent to the underworld, a place of eternal darkness and suffering. Anubis accompanied the soul on its journey to the underworld, guiding it through the dangers that lay along the way. He was also present at the weighing of the heart ceremony, where the deceased's heart was placed on one side of a scale and the feather of truth on the other. If the heart was found to be pure, it was considered evidence that the person had lived a virtuous life and was allowed to enter the field of reeds. But if the heart was heavy with sin, it was devoured by the goddess Ammit, who was said to dwell in the underworld. Although Anubis was primarily associated with the dead, he was not exclusive to them. In fact, he was also seen as a protector of travelers, especially those who journeyed at night. People would make offerings to him at certain crossroads in the hopes that he would guide them safely to their destinations. Additionally, Anubis was invoked to protect pregnant women and children, as well as those who were sick or in danger. His protective powers extended beyond individuals, encompassing entire cities. During times of war, the Egyptians would call upon Anubis to safeguard their homes and property. And in times of peace, they would pray to him to ensure the safety of their borders. It's important to note that unlike many other Egyptian gods, Anubis was not anthropomorphic, meaning that he didn't have a human form. Instead, he was usually depicted as a dog, specifically a black dog with a jackal's head. This animalistic representation may have contributed to his association with the dead, as these creatures were often seen scavenging around cemeteries. Nevertheless, Anubis was considered to be highly intelligent and was capable of communicating with humans. He was also credited with teaching the Egyptians the art of embalming, which they believed was necessary to preserve the body for the journey to the afterlife. In ancient Egypt, there were many ways to honor Anubis, but one of the most popular was to build an altar in his name. Altars were typically constructed from stone or wood, and were often placed in private homes or in small shrines along roads or at crossroads. The materials used for the altar could vary, but they generally represented the god to whom they were dedicated. For example, a shrine to Anubis might contain a statue or image of a jackal or a baboon, as well as objects related to his other roles, such as a traveler's staff or a mummy's coffin. The construction of an altar was a significant undertaking, requiring not only time and effort, but also a considerable amount of money. This was because the materials needed to build the structure had to be transported to the site, and skilled craftsmen were needed to put it together. Additionally, offerings had to be made regularly to keep the god happy. This included food, drink, flowers, and incense. The frequency of these offerings depended on the resources of the individual or household making them, as well as the relationship they had with Anubis. Some people might make offerings every day, while others might only do so on special occasions, like birthdays or anniversaries. As you can see, Anubis was more than just a fearsome god of the dead. He was a deity whose influence extended to many aspects of Egyptian life. His presence was felt not only in the realm of the afterlife, but also in the daily lives of the living, and he was revered as a protector, guide, and teacher. Building an altar to Anubis was a tangible way for the Egyptians to express their devotion to him and ensure his favor. It was a physical manifestation of their belief in his power and wisdom, and served as a constant reminder of the importance of living a virtuous life in order to appease him. Thanks for watching. Kindly like, share, and subscribe for more videos about African gods.